Hey guys, Mark again, and well, I'm gonna be doing a review today by myself. I haven't done a review by myself ever since, well, actually I don't think I've ever reviewed anything by myself. Unless you want to include that Humans on Catnip video, which I don't know about you, but I'm not going to include that. But today I wanted to talk about a Netflix series that just came out yesterday called Guardians of Justice Will Save You. Now, honestly, where to even begin with this series? I guess for some background, this was a series that was created by Adi Shankar. For those of you that don't know, Adi Shankar was the executive producer of the Castlevania anime that's also on Netflix, which, if you're into anime and you love Castlevania, definitely give that a shot if you haven't. He was also the executive producer of that Dread remake. He also produced The Grey, I think the movie was called. But more relevant to the Guardians of Justice series, he is the mind behind the Bootleg universe. If you don't know, the Bootleg universe is essentially an anthology series on YouTube of fan films, I guess you could call them, where they essentially take really popular comic book characters or really just famous things from pop culture in general and put a much more darker twist on it. Some of you may remember the rated R Power Rangers short film that came out back in 2015, I believe it was. That's part of the Bootleg universe. There was also a Punisher short film called Dirty Laundry that was, I think, the first installment. My personal favorite was this film noir, like found footage mockumentary of Venom called Truth in Journalism. There was also that really weird anime Pokemon thing that came out more recently that is also, I guess, an addition to that universe. And of course, this series is the most recent installment of the Bootleg universe. So as you can tell, I've followed Adi Shankar for a really long time now. I actually met him at New York Comic Con back in 2018, and apparently I blew him away because I told him that I had been following him since the Power Rangers short film came out. He even recorded me saying all of it and was actually really blown away, and one of the questions I asked him was about this project. For those that don't know, this is actually a project that Adi Shankar has been working on for 6-7 years now. Originally, it was going to be called Adi Shankar's Gods and Secrets and was supposed to be out on HBO, I believe. However, he was having a very difficult time getting this thing produced because of just how insane it was. From what I can tell, he would pitch this idea to a bunch of people and they would all look at him and be like, "Are you crazy? What is this?" And after watching the show, yeah, that checks out. However, after years and years of trying to get this thing done, it eventually got the name Guardians of Justice and was released on Netflix. And yeah, let's talk about it. So essentially, Guardians of Justice is a superhero satire series that is not just live action, but is a hybrid of live action and animation. From what I remember, there's like 32 different animation styles in this series. And when you take that into account and think back to when he tried to pitch this, it almost makes sense as to why people would look at him and tell him why he's crazy. But in all honesty, what we have at the end of the day is a visually, like, beautiful thing. This show, I think, does a really great job at blending all these different mediums together. Like, it'll go from live action straight to a stop motion animation, and then it'll go to like a pixelated digital like game animation. It even has like video game elements in it. Like when somebody's about to die, it'll shout out like, "Finish him," and then it'll like, when the character's dead, it'll say like fatality. And I really think that this combination of live action and animation works to an extent. There are a lot of moments in the show where it does give a really good payoff, but there are a lot of times where I think it kind of takes away from the series. Adi Shankar stated that the idea of live action and animation combined in this way was to represent the chaos of the story. And yeah, this story is pretty insane. I mentioned before that it's essentially a superhero satire parody kind of story. And from the title, you could probably assume that it parodies the Justice League, but it doesn't just parody the Justice League. It definitely does, but it even parodies Marvel in a way. There's a rip-off SpiderMan character. Even the main character of the story, Nighthawk, is almost like a combination of Batman and Wolverine. It definitely is more so Batman, but there's a lot of Wolverine elements to this guy. There's a parody character of Shazam, his name is Awesome Man. There's the Flash parody character known as the Speed. And then, of course, we have the Superman parody character that is known as Marvelous Man. I don't know if that's supposed to be a jab at Marvel or anything, but hey, it works. One thing that was also really funny is Adi Shankar plays the Lex Luthor parody kind of character, which I don't know if that was like intentional, because maybe he doesn't like Superman or something, but either way, it was pretty funny to see. You can tell that Adi Shankar was having a really fun time, and I feel like everybody in this were having a fun time. Not even just superheroes, but as mentioned before, there are elements of Mortal Kombat in here. The whole fatality and the finish him part. There are like health bars that show up when two characters are fighting. There's even an animation point that resembles Dragon Ball Z, which was actually really cool to see. Even now as I think about it, there's still like so much to process and just so much to take in. Like, it's honestly something I might have to watch a second time. However, unfortunately, like I said, the story kind of gets lost sometimes in just how many artistic like liberties that the show takes. Okay, I'm going on about the visuals a lot. Let me get into the story a little bit. So the story essentially takes place in an alternate universe of the 80s where superheroes exist. Marvelous Man has been bringing world peace for about 40 years, but then out of nowhere in 1987, I believe the year is, he kills himself on live TV, which, by the way, this series is not for the faint of heart. If things like suicide or self-harm are like a trigger, be warned, this series doesn't shy away from things like that. But yeah, like essentially Marvelous Man dies right in the beginning and the Nighthawk character tries to investigate. In a way, this series is almost like an homage to Watchmen. Similar to Watchmen, a very notorious hero gets killed in the beginning and the Batman-like parody character kind of comes in and investigates. And when you really watch the series, a lot of it does mirror Watchmen, and that's kind of one of my favorite things about the show. The show is almost a modern take on Watchmen. And I don't know if that necessarily spoils anything, but I'm not really going to go into the plot anymore because of that. This is honestly something I would recommend you watching, because it's really difficult to go into anything more without spoiling. What I will go into are some positives and negatives. The visuals, like I said before, are honestly really cool. The characters are done very well. Nighthawk is played by Diamond Dallas Page, which was a really, really cool surprise, by the way. At first, it was a little weird because his voice was a little like, you know how Diamond Dallas Page talks. He's really like, hey, yeah, you're gonna have to, like, you know. But that, you know, and it's a little annoying at first, but after a while, you kind of it kind of grows on you. And Nighthawk really is the heart of this show because it's all about basically his investigation and everything that's going on behind the scenes, as well as like the drama that's going on with all the other characters, as well as their conflict when Marvelous Man is killed. It's a really, really chaotic show. However, I understand that it more than likely isn't for everybody. It's not, some people are gonna like it and some people are just gonna be like, this is stupid. I would actually recommend watching the first episode and kind of determining it from there. If you think the first episode is cool and you want to watch it more, then go right ahead. If it's not your thing, then hey, at least you tried. It is a very easy watch. There's only 7 episodes. The episodes are about 20, 30, sometimes more. I want to say the longest episode is like 36 minutes, but honestly, it is a really interesting watch. The ending as well, the show actually gets crazier and crazier. So if you think it's crazy in the first episode, it only goes up from there. The last few episodes are honestly really insane, and it was a pretty cool ending. There are hints to a potential season 2 if this series does well. I kind of have a love-hate feel for the idea of a season 2. Similar to the Watchmen context, I'm not sure if a season 2 would really work with this, but if done well, it could be a really good season 2. It could work. I'm gonna give the show a 7 out of 10 because although I did really enjoy a lot of things about it, I enjoyed the visuals, I loved the story, I really liked a lot of the things that were going on. It definitely wasn't perfect. Like I was saying, there are some times where I think the story gets lost in the visuals, and I think there are a lot of times where the story kind of gets lost within itself, if that makes sense. But overall, I do think it was a very enjoyable watch. I don't know, in a way, just like Watchmen, I feel like this is going to be a show that everyone's going to interpret differently. It's definitely something I would at least recommend watching the first episode of. The first episode's only 20 minutes, so it's not like it's gonna take too much out of your day. Also, if you have seen the show, let me know what you think. If you liked it or if you hated it, you know, let me know. Because I feel like I said, I think this is something that is really gonna divide people when they watch it. Almost similar to Watchmen. Hell, honestly, I would go as far as to say that this is a very modern, this is a more modern take on Watchmen than even the HBO Max series that came out. That's probably gonna get me into a lot of shit, but honestly, bring it on. Bring it on. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is not the only thing I do on my channel. I do music videos, I do short films, I do all that stuff, you know? So be sure to stick around. Also, if you've seen the show, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed it, tell me what you liked about it. If you hated it, let me know too, because honestly, I'd like discussion. But yeah, I guess if anything, I might do a follow-up if you guys want me to watch it a second time and have a second opinion, because I feel like I'm gonna get more in. But either way, let me know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.